Further ado, my name is Jason Gorenstein. This is our Vinyasa Flow Level 1-2 class. Today, Tuesday, June the 30th, 2020. The time is just a couple of minutes past 12 o'clock. And we're going to begin in Child's Pose today. So as you feel ready, find your way into Child's Pose. And just begin to allow your breath to be long and slow here. So allow the feet to move together. Allow the knees to move apart and just release the forehead onto your mat. And since this is our first Child's Pose, you can take your arms and just place the arms along the sides of your body here. And allow the palms to face the ceiling. And this is an incredible pose. It's one of my favorite poses to take, believe it or not. The reason why I like it so much is because it really kind of brings me into a space of total relaxation. So as we move through our sequence, you can always return back to this pose. We have a really nice sequence planned for everyone today. And this is a great opportunity for us to come together and practice our yoga practice. So let's begin by taking the hands forward of the shoulders and spreading across the fingers here and beginning to lengthen through the sides of the waist. So as you press down through the fingers here, continue to firm the outer triceps in, continue to spread across the fingers here. And as you continue to breathe, just notice the length across the body. And then you're going to inhale, lift the head on up, walk the hands over towards the right side of the room, and release your head back down to the mat. I apologize, I forgot to change over the screen. That happens sometimes. All right, that should be better. Okay. So now as you feel ready, stretching and feeling the entire right side of the body here. Continue to breathe into the right hip, the right shoulder, the right chest. And then walking back up, lifting up, coming back to center, and walking over towards the right side of the body. So as you walk the hands over to the right, you should feel a nice long stretch along the left side of the body here. And breathing into the hips, breathing into the spine muscles, and breathing into the chest. And eventually we'll walk our way back to center. And again, spread across the fingers here. So already begin to feel that length happening along the sides of the arms, along the sides of the shoulders. I'd invite you to actually walk up onto your fingertips right now. So come up high onto your fingertips. Let the heels of the palms be off the mat and just stretch out the body here. That's it. And now begin to inhale, peel up the chest, lift up the heart and sternum. And on an exhalation, pressing down through the fingers, float the thighs back, downward facing dog pose. So as you come into your first downward facing dog pose today, I invite you, if you'd like, to pedal the dog out. So you can straighten right leg, bend left knee, straighten left leg, bend right knee, and just begin to alternate here. Nice. And as you continue to spread across the fingers and press through the fingers, on an inhalation, shift forward into plank pose. So as you shift forward into plank pose, press the heels back and firm the belly in towards the back of the spine. Now continue to press down through the fingers here and feel the outer arms wrapping in. So continue to press those heels back, firm the belly in, and breathe in here. On an exhalation, you're just going to shift back into downward facing dog. And we're going to do that a couple of times. So on an inhale, shift forward into plank pose, shoulders over wrist. And as you exhale, hug the belly in and take the thighs back to the back of the room. On an inhalation, shift forward into plank pose. Nice. And on an exhalation, once again, thighs back, belly hugs in. One more time, shift forward into plank pose. So lower your knees down onto the mat here. And you're going to bend your elbows halfway in, Chaturanga Nandasana. Press down through the fingers to lift the chest up and float the thighs on back, downward facing dog. So throughout today's practice, I invite you, if you'd like, to utilize that Chaturanga Nandasana. You can lower down onto your knees if you'd like, or you can take traditional Chaturanga Nandasana. On an inhalation, float the right leg up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bend that right knee. And as you bend that right knee, open that right hip up and just begin to circle that right hip in circles here. So about 5 times moving that right hip in circles. And just begin to open up the right inner leg here. Very good.
And then as you extend fully through that right leg, begin to shift the weight forward, shoulders over wrist. So plank pose with a lifted right knee. And then as you draw the right knee into the center chest, round the spine here. And then once again, inhale, extend back into a three-legged dog. On the next exhalation, right knee comes to chest. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. Release your left knee down to the mat. And as you inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling here. So as you come into Crescent Pose, continue to press that left thigh back. Continue to feel the left calf pressing down. And feel both sides of the buttocks releasing down towards the heels. On an exhalation, release the hands down to the mat. Walk the right toes out to the right and take your right palm over towards your right thigh. As you press the right palm into the right thigh, begin to rotate your right shoulder in towards the center chest. Inhale, maybe inviting the right arm to float up towards the ceiling here. And as, you float that arm towards the ceiling, draw the right hip in towards the right hip socket. And then taking that arm back to center, release that right palm down to the mat. Step the right leg back to meet the left leg and find your way back into downward facing dog pose. So again, we're going to shift forward into plank and lower these knees down to the mat. Once again, bend those elbows halfway, Chaturanga Nandasana pose. As you inhale, lift the chest on up. And as you exhale, press on back, downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, bending the left knee, opening that left leg up, and about 5 times moving this left hip in circles. So this creates joint mobility, and it's a really nice way to kind of connect with our hips and our body here. That's it. Eventually extend that left leg fully back to the back of the mat, and then begin to shift forward into a plank pose with the left foot lifted off the mat. Hug the left knee into the center chest and round the spine here as you come into a rounded, somewhat push-up pose. As you extend that left leg back, come back into downward facing dog, three-legged pose. And then as you draw the left knee into the chest, step the left foot in between the hands and release that right knee on down. Inhale, float those arms up towards the ceiling, wrapping your outer triceps in and up. As you press down through the right calf here, draw that right thigh back to the right buttocks. Now take your hands down to the mat, walk your left foot out to the left side, and take your left hand onto the left thigh as you begin to revolve the left side of your chest towards the ceiling. Inhale, floating the left arm up and over the head as you continue to breathe here and lengthening across the spine and the chest. Very good. So now coming back to center with that left foot, stepping the left foot back to the right, downward facing dog pose. Good. Downward facing dog pose here, beginning to walk the feet forward towards the hands. As you inhale here, come halfway up, and as you exhale, hinge and fold. On an inhalation, raise those arms up towards the ceiling, and on an exhalation, bring those hands back down into your sides, Tadasana Pose. So let's take a moment here, just spread across the chest, spread across the fingers, spread across the feet. So feel the entire body spreading out wide apart. On an inhalation, raise the arms up above your head, and as you exhale, hinge and fold here. As you inhale, lengthen through the chest, the heart, the sternum. And as you exhale, hinge on forward again. Inhale, sweep those arms up towards the ceiling, firming the outer thighs in and up. As you exhale, once again, gliding the hands back down to your sides. As you inhale here, float those arms up and maybe bring the palms to touch. And as you exhale, hinging forward and releasing those hands down to the mat. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, the heart, the sternum as you draw those shoulders back. And as you exhale, hinging deeply here and releasing the hands down to the mat. Inhale, raising those arms up towards the ceiling, bringing those palms together to touch. And as you exhale here, gliding those fingers down and releasing the arms out to the sides. Inhale, raising the arms up, bringing the fingers together to touch. And as you exhale here, releasing that torso all the way down to the mat.
As you inhale here, lengthening the chest, halfway forward and up, begin to take the hands and walk the feet back as you find your way into downward facing dog pose. So downward facing dog pose again, shifting forward and finding your way into plank. And as you find your way into plank this time, you're going to continue to rebound up through your upper arms. As you exhale, shift back once again and find your way into downward facing dog. So take your right leg, extend your right leg up, and hug your right knee in towards the center chest. On an exhalation, extending the right leg back and lengthening through the left side of the body. As you draw the right knee into the chest one more time, step the right foot in between the hands. As you press that left heel on back, take the arms in line with the sides of the body. Now imagine you had a block in between your hands, and you could firm your outer arms in towards one another. And as you press down through your left heel, inhale, begin to float up the center chest. As you inhale here, raise the fingers up towards the ceiling and lift up through the heart. And as you exhale, bend these elbows to 90 degrees and allow that center chest to open up. Now take your left arm forward in front of you and take your right arm back behind. And as you release your right hand down to your to your left leg, inhale, float your left arm up. As you exhale here, come back to that side twist pose and inhale, come back to center with those arms. And as you exhale, spin your left foot down, straighten the right leg, and begin to walk your right foot over into Warrior Two pose. As you take Warrior Two pose, inhale, float the right arm up, and begin to reverse the warrior here. And as you exhale, straighten across that right leg and bend more deeply into that right knee. Now take your arms out to your sides, and 5 times here, lengthen and retract. So as you begin to move through this stretch of lengthening through the right arm and moving back into that left heel, just see if you can continue to move more fluidly through the body. That's it, 2 more times. So stretching forward through the chest and drawing back through the left arm. This is it. Stretching forward through the chest, this time releasing the right forearm onto the right thigh. Now take your left arm, glide it down to the floor and up and all the way over the head. And as you press through that left heel, begin to spin the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling here. All right, now take your right hand, bring it to your belly, and take your left hand and look up. And as you look up towards your left hand, bring that left hand and glide it behind your back here. That's it. So as you glide the hand behind the back, use your right elbow to spin the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. And as you take the left arm back again, raise the torso up back to straighten the right leg. One more time, bending deeply into that right knee, reversing the warrior here. And as you exhale, windmill those hands down to the mat and step your right leg back to meet the left. This time shifting forward into Chaturanga Nandasana, lowering halfway or all the way down. Inhale, peeling up the chest for Cobra Urdhva. As you exhale, float back, downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, once again, float that left leg up and press all the way through those fingers. And as you exhale, round the spine here and draw that left knee into the chest. Inhale, floating that left leg back. Once again, one more time, lengthening through the left leg. And on an exhale, stepping the left foot through the hands and firming back through the right leg. As you firm that right leg back and you press that left foot down, take your arms behind the back, seal the arms towards one another, and lift the chest up into a reverse frown. Inhale, float those arms up over your head, and lift those arms up towards the sky. Now take the right arm forward, and take the left arm back behind. Take the left hand, release it on down, and extend the right arm up. And as you exhale, arms come back to the sides, and float both arms back up. Now take your right leg and spin it on down and walk your left toes over as you bend deeply into that left knee, Warrior Two, and see if you can release both of your legs down and over. That's it. Now from here, straighten across the left leg. I'm going to flip sides and then begin to bend deeper into that left knee. And 5 times here, we're just going to begin to lengthen and draw the body on back. So as we move back and forth through this extended variation pose, just see if you can stay rooted in that back leg and see if you can keep yourself centered in your toes. So once again here, lengthening forward and finding your way back to the side. Release your left forearm onto the left thigh and extend your right arm all the way to the ceiling. Now take that right arm, glide it down, and glide it all the way up and out. And as you take your left elbow, bend it into your left thigh and begin to reverse your chest up towards the ceiling. Now keep looking up towards that arm and maybe spin the right palm back behind and see if you can take your left hand to the left side of the chest as you revolve your buttocks in and underneath you. Now inhale, float that right arm up and let that right arm lift you on back to the warrior two. Reverse the warrior here, left arm up, and then float both arms back to the mat. Now step your left leg back once again and move to Chaturanga Nandasana. And now from here, inhale, lifting up through Urdhvadhanarasana. As you exhale, press on back and find your way into downward facing dog. And release here as you press those feet back, thighs back, and hips all the way back to the wall. And then once again, look forward in between the hands and step or lightly jump. Inhale, floating up halfway. And exhale, releasing on down. Inhale, raising those arms up towards the ceiling, floating up through the fingers and lifting up through space. As you exhale, glide those hands back to the sides and releasing those hands right in their place. Take the hands, interlace the fingers here, and draw the chest on up to the ceiling. As you exhale, hinge at those hips and release the crown down towards the toes. Now bend those knees slightly here and lift those inner legs up. As you exhale, continue to feel those fingers drawing in as you lift the center chest in and up. As you draw the chest on up, bend those knees and see if you can sit into a chair. As you float the arms up towards the ceiling, see if you can be neither here nor there. As you lift the arms back up, release the hands back down to the sides, and then once again be here for a moment, just standing from side to side. So inhale, float those arms, Utkatasana, and exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, lengthen the chest up and up. As you exhale, downward facing dog. As you come from downward facing dog, shift on forward to plank and plank to Chaturanga Nandasana. As you inhale, float the arms and chest up into Urdhvadhanarasana. As you exhale, pressing those thighs back and once again back into downward facing dog. So now take the right leg on up and extend that right leg back and press the right heel into the room. And then as you feel ready, float that right knee forward and bring it right out to your left outer arm. As you inhale, extend that leg back once again and float it back to the back of the wall. And as you exhale, glide that right arm up all the way onto the right top of your shoulder. And then as you inhale, once again, glide that right arm back, or right leg back, and then draw the right knee into center. And then step the right foot in between the hands, spinning the left heel down and lifting up back to our center. So as we come into our warrior two pose once again, see that the weight's heavy in the feet. And 5 times here of lifting the arms up and releasing back down through the feet. So inhale, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sinking down a little bit deeper. Inhale, floating those arms up even more. Exhale, bending that right knee to the shin. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bending that right knee. Inhale, floating those arms up towards the ceiling and sinking down from feet to feet. One more time, lifting those arms up. And one more time, bending in those knees. Right hand this time comes inside the leg and left arm floats towards the trees. As you take the left hand back behind you, let the hand release slightly down. Now see if you can get so much weight in the feet that you can lift your right hand towards your chest once again. Now spin the chest on up and float on here and be here for a moment. Now take your left hand once again and extend it out over the head. See if you can be here in the legs and maybe float that right arm out to the side
And as you inhale, float both arms up, bending that right knee and straightening across that leg. Now taking your arms out to the sides, hinge at that right hip, and glide your right hand on down. As you press through the feet here, lifting through the chest and floating through the left palm. So continue to stay here as you revolve the chest up, all the way up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, look on down towards that floor and bend deeply into that right knee. Now we come into balance. So step the left foot in and step the right hand forward. And as you glide your left leg up, see if you can lift even more from shoulder to shoulder. That's very important here. So we're going to spread across those shoulders. Now let that left foot extend all the way out and let that left arm extend all the way up. And see if the crown of the head can lengthen just as much as we lengthen all parts of the body. Now take that right knee, bend it here, and release that left foot on down. Once again, Utthita Trikonasana, as we take ourselves from pubis to crown. As you float that left arm up, bring the hands back to the hips and spin your right foot in. Let's turn our feet all the way over to this other side and be here from chin to chin. All right, extend the arms out to the sides once again and begin to hinge at that left hip. Glide the right arm up towards the ceiling as you spread across your chest. Now firm your outer feet in and firm that belly in too. And see if you can lift up even higher through the right pinky finger. Now take your right hand, leave it up, and bend into that left knee. Now take your left hand, glide it out, and step your right foot in about 3 feet. And now as you step your right foot up, lift the right leg up and lift the right heel towards the ceiling. As you float your arms and chest up, just see if you can maintain this feeling. So we're continuing to lengthen from both our feet and our arms as we continue to press down and up. There's a rebounding action that happens here as we lift up through the center of our belly. So as you stay here, keep lengthening, and then bend deeply into that left knee. Slowly release that right leg down, and then lift up through the right fingers. Okay, now glide that right arm up, bend that left knee, and be here for a moment. And then from here, we're gonna glide up the arms and be here for a moment as well. So as you straighten across that left leg, keep extending through both arms here. And as you exhale, bend deeper into that left knee and see if you can sink a little deeper here. So you're gonna lift up on the inhalation and you're gonna bend that knee on the exhalation. You're gonna lift up and get a little bit longer. You're gonna exhale, you're gonna sink a little bit deeper. You're gonna inhale, you're gonna feel those feet rooting. You're gonna exhale, you're gonna feel the chest lifting. You're gonna inhale, feel your heart engaged. You're gonna exhale and feel your belly engaged. One more time here, lifting up through those arms. One more time, bending that left knee. This time, left forearm comes once again as you extend the right arm over the ear. So here, if you'd like, you can take the right hand and place it back behind you. And then take the left elbow, bend it, and bring the left hand to the center chest. Now take your right arm, glide it up over the head, and press through the right ball of the foot. And now take your left arm and see if you can extend it out to the side as you press down through both feet. Inhale, float those arms up. As you exhale, straighten through that left leg. Now turn those feet back into center. And as you interlace the fingers, float and release the head. So as you release the head on down, interlace the fingers and float the arms on up. And continue to wrap those outer arms in as you release the center chest down to the floor. So keep wrapping your outer arms in. Keep firming that belly in too. And see if you can release your head on down all the way down towards the floor. Now lift your chest on up and breathe here. And take your hands to your hips. Spin both feet over to the right side, bend that right knee, and bring your hands back to the floor. Step your right foot on back, shift forward into plank, and be here for another moment. And then as we take plank pose, we're going to lower our knees down and be here for another moment. Okay, so this is a really cool action.
I learned in another class, you'll take your left arm up and you'll take your left foot back, your left arm up, and then you'll be here for a moment. So this is like our extended side angle pose, okay? But we're gonna add on to this. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna root down through the right thigh, right shin, right hand, and then you're gonna bring the left knee to a bend. And you're gonna begin to crunch here. These are called like knee crunches, and then extend that left leg out again. So you draw that left knee into the center chest and you tap the left knee to the left tricep. And then you inhale, you extend the left arm up and out as you extend through the chest. So let's do it again. So left knee comes in and left knee comes to left tricep and lift that leg all the way up. And then again, extending both through the left leg and your left arm, all the same. And once again, drawing that left knee in and rounding the spine and being here for another moment. It's beautiful, guys. And then extending that left arm, left leg out, and then releasing the hand and knee down. Good. So let's come into downward facing dog to offset the pose and just be here to breathe in and out. And continue to release through that head and continue to laugh and not pout. All right. So one more time, let's release the knees down, and we're going to move on to the right side. So as you feel ready, you'll extend the right leg on back, and you'll extend the right arm up and over the head. So this is Vinyasa pose, but just the very basic version of the pose. But we take this pose to prepare us for the next pose, which are these lifted crunches pose. So the right hand comes behind the back of the head. The right leg extends all the way out. And then you'll draw the right knee into the chest, right knee to right tricep as you lift and round the spine. You'll extend the right leg back and extend the arm forward as you lengthen on here. Good. So let's do it again. So right knee comes all the way to the right tricep and really round here. And then you'll extend that right leg back and you'll extend that right arm forward. So draw that right knee into the chest, draw that right elbow towards the knee, and be here for another moment. Glide your arms away, so we have two more. Bringing knee to elbow here. And once again, extending the arms. And once again, we are here. And then extending that right leg and right arm all the way out to the sides. Release the right hand, right foot down. And then once again, as you feel ready, downward facing dog pose. All right, so as you take downward facing dog pose this time, you're going to begin to shift both feet over to the right. Now, come very light up on your left fingertips and be here as we're in mid-plight. As you feel ready, inhale, float the left arm up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, glide the left arm under the body. As you inhale, float that left arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, again, arm under the body. As you inhale, float that left arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, arm under the body. As you inhale, float that arm up towards the ceiling. Now, maybe stack the toes on towards one another. So from here, shift the weight back to center, and let's come to the other side. And before we lift the arm up, just be very light on your fingers so that you're on your fingertips right now. So you're on the fingertips of your right hand, and you're pressing down through the left palm. And then as you feel ready, inhale, float the right arm up, and lift that right arm up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, glide that right hand under the body and right under the armpit here. And as you inhale, float that right arm up and lift that right arm as you spread the chest. As you exhale, glide that right arm under and really reach through the left side. And as you inhale, float that right arm up and lift that right arm up towards the ceiling. One more time. As you glide on forward, reach, and see if you can reach all the way over to the left. And as you inhale, float that right arm up and release the right hand on down. Good. Okay, so from here we move back into downward facing dog. We walk the knees all the way to the fingers and then sit down into a very low seat as you lift the chest on here. Good. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to sit on down and we're going to float the arms up in the air, Urdhvadhanarasana. And then as you exhale here, bring the hands to the center chest, right tricep over the top of the left thigh. So as you press the right thigh in towards the left tricep, begin to spin the chest up towards the ceiling. Now take the left arm, bring it on up, and release the right palm on down. Okay, this gives us a perfect opportunity. So now, as you bend those knees here forward, begin to place the fingers on the mat. Okay, so I don't know what your side Vashisthasana, Bakasana poses, or side crow pose, but you're gonna spread the fingers here. You're going to see that both legs only stack on top of your right tricep, not on the left. Nothing is touching the left arm. Then all you're going to do is take Chaturanga Nandasana, okay? So as you start to lower on down, just bend your left elbow in and see if you can balance here for a moment. That's it. Maybe from here you do Ekapada Kundanyasana by extending the right leg back and the left arm forward. Bring the feet back to center. And come into a forward fold. And then as you feel ready, inhale, float the arms up and come back into our Utkatasana. Bring your hands into the center chest and moving into Harsva Utkatasana. So this is side chair pose. And then as you feel ready, extending the right arm up and the left arm all the way down to the floor. Now take your hands, bring them on down, set up for side plank variation pose. So you take your hands to start into Chaturanga Nandasana here, and then you just begin to shift the weight forward so that both legs stay on top of the left arm. Then glide the right leg back, or forward, glide the left leg back here, and then step the feet back down to the mat. And again, a forward fold. All right, so as you fold forward this time, grab hold of your toes and bend those elbows towards the air. And release the head once again as you shake out your hair. Okay, release here, just breathing into the backs of the legs and just seeing if you can get any more length. And now inhale, lift the chest here. Keep your hands on the feet and see if you can lift the chest. That's it. All right. So from here, hands come to the hips. Inhale. Begin to peel the chest on up. And as you float the arms up, Urdhvadhanarasana pose. And as you exhale, release to the sides. Good. All right. So from here, hands come to the hips. You're going to bend the left knee and spin it out. Now you'll take the left foot. You'll either place it on the left calf or you'll draw the left foot to the right thigh. As you press the left foot into the right thigh, press the right thigh back into the left foot here, okay? Hands come to the center chest and stand. I always think this is like a flamingo. So as you breathe here for another moment, just see if you can find your balance and your eyes, your gaze, your attention, okay? And then as you feel ready, you're going to draw this left leg up and you're going to place it over the top of your right thigh. Now bring the hands into the center chest, just sink down, and you're coming into, this is like called floating pigeons pose. It's not quite floating pigeons, but it's a very similar variation of the pose. Now release the hands down to the mat and release the head all the way down. If you want to take the arm balance variation here, just make sure that you have the crook of the elbow and the upper foot hooking into the hand, into the arm. So it's very important that you keep that kind of crook here as you shift the weight on forward. So it's exactly like Bakasana pose, but we have that hook of the arm. And then you'll step the foot on back if you decided to take that, and you'll lift on up here. Now, all right, take the right knee, or take the left knee into the chest, and just begin to do a simple twist here. Okay. That's a tough pose to take, by the way. Exhale, release the left foot down, and take the arms out to the side. Floating pigeon is one of the more challenging poses of the sequence. So as you feel ready, hands come to the hips and bend into that right knee. Now spin your right heel to the left ankle and then take your right foot above the left knee. And then as you bring your hands to the center chest, you could just stay in our tree pose, our Marichyasana. Or if you want to work your arm balances, or at least just to open up your hips, you can begin to start to take the floating pigeon pose. So bend that knee here, bend that left knee, and see if you can bring your elbows close to the shin, and then release your hands down on the mat as you flex across your left foot. So the left foot is above the tricep here, and the right knee rather is above the right arm. So as you come into this pose, you almost stack here. And even if you're not going to lift up, you can still feel the setup of the pose. The setup is fairly, simple when it comes to just stacking in our Chaturanga Nandasana. And then as you exhale, you'll lower that foot down and you'll walk the left foot back up. Then you'll take the twisting pose here. So the right knee is up and you'll just twist over to your right side. Exhale, release that foot on down. And then bring your arms to the side. Sorry, I crushed it on that last bit. All right, so as you feel ready here, Urdhvadhanarasana chair pose. And exhale, hinge on forward. Inhale, lengthening through the chest and the heart. And as you exhale, walk the feet back. Shift forward into plank. Lower the chest down and lower all the way down onto your mat.
Now release the forehead down and take the arms interlaced behind the back. And as you pull the fingers back to the buttocks, begin to feel the chest up and allow the shoulders to move back. As you lift the right foot up, firm the right outer thigh in towards the midline. And as you lift the left leg up, do the same and spin both little toes down towards the mat. See that the inner legs are lifting. See that the outer legs are pressing down. Feel the chest lifting up. And then extend and lengthen through your crown. Begin to lower your head down to the mat as you release. And just close the eyes here for a moment. Just seeing if you can be with yourself. And seeing if you can be with your breath. Now, one more time here, lift the chest. And we're going to bend those knees all the way. All right, you know where it's coming. Now take your left hand, bring it back to your left shin, and bring your right hand back just the same. Now grab hold of your outer ankles here and begin to start to kick back through your shins. Lift up, kick back, and hug that belly in as you smile with a grin. All right, as you exhale, lower those legs down and release the head down to the side. And just breathe here as you breathe in and out through the nose. And as I feel barely alive. All right, so one more time here. Let's kick those legs up. And let's hug onto those legs. That's it. Now kick, 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 kick. And see if you can lift the chest. So kick those legs back. Lift the inner thighs up. And draw the arms, outer arms in. Now release on down one more time. And release the head to the other way. And just breathe here one more second as we approach this lovely day. Take your hands down to the mat, lift the chest, sweep your legs around in front of you. And now we're going to come into a whole nother sequence as we find our way back onto our root. All right, so lift your legs up here and extend your arms. And we're going to start with Arda Navasana. So extend your legs forward, hug that belly in, and wrap your arms up towards the ceiling. Now draw those knees in, lift the legs up, and see if you can be here. And then again, extend those legs forward, hug that belly in, and see if you can extend through here. Draw the knees up once again, lift those legs up, lift through the top of the chest. And again, extend those legs forward and hug that belly in. And try to rest. It's not easy. All right, come back again one more time. And lift up through your chest. So you guys know, Jessica, you know we like to do a little bit of abdominal work. We really didn't get into any today. We were doing mostly leg and arm stuff. So you'll lift both of your legs up towards the ceiling here. You're going to just begin to alternate, lowering and lifting your legs right here. So every time you lower and you lift your leg, you want your shoulders to be lifted off the floor. So you're continuing to reach those arms forward, and maybe you're kicking towards your door, but you do want to see that your belly is hugged in here, and you do want to try to lift those shoulders up. And as you continue to move from side to side, you don't have to move too quick, just moving with your gut. And as you move from side to side here, just keep kicking those legs forwards and backwards here. And we're moving once again from side to side and looking at that belly right here. That's it. Hug those knees into the chest once again and just rock from side to side. All right. So from here, you're going to once again lift up the chest, belly, and sternum and take the hands back behind the head. And now draw both elbows over towards your left and extend your legs on forward. And draw both knees back in and extend your arms to the right. Now draw both legs forward once again. This is my favorite. And then once again back to center. And again, we bring our arms over to the left and extend those legs out. Despite the weather, draw those knees in, back to the other side. Draw those legs out in front of us. And draw those knees in. One more time here. So we go to the left and extend. And then once again back to center. And once again to the right and extend. And be here for one more moment as you breathe and breathe and breathe. Hug those knees into the chest, lower that head down, and release the head on down. That's it. Now, bring the feet down to the floor. Interlace the fingers on your mat. Roll your outer arms in, and squeeze hold of the edges of the mat. As you press down through your feet, float the tail up, and begin to press the tops of the thighs down. Hug that belly in. Draw those shoulders underneath you, and allow the chest to move to up or down. So this is our really nice bridge pose here as you interlace the fingers underneath the back. Press down through the fingers, press down through the wrist, press down through the forearms, and allow the shoulders to come in towards the back. All right, so let's lower down for a moment, and I'm going to begin to instruct the next action, which is Urdhvadhanarasana. So Urdhvadhanarasana, the key to this pose is keeping the elbows as close together as possible. One of the biggest problems that students have with Urdhvadhanarasana is their elbows turn out to the sides of the room, and they have no foundation to press themselves up. So that's why they're not able to lift up. So what you're going to do is when you take your hands back behind your shoulders, you're going to hug those elbows towards the ears. And as you lift up the pelvis into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, you're going to keep pressing down through your fingers. Okay, so as you press down, maybe see here if you can lift up and come onto the crown of the head. If you have difficulty with this, I would consider coming back into your bridge pose. And as you hug those elbows in, press the fingers down, hug the outer arms in, and breathe here. So press through the fingers, press through the feet, wrap your outer arms in, and continue to smile here with a large, big grin. That's it. Exhale, lift the head up, bend those elbows and lower the shoulders down, and release the head all the way back down to the ground. So if you want, you can take that again. You could either come back into bridge pose, or if you want to take Urdhvadhanarasana, the full wheel, please feel free to do so. So you can press your feet down, press the thighs down, and come on to the crown of the head. And then as you draw the outer arms in, you press down and you lift press the fingers down so you lift up off your head. And as you breathe here, opening the chest, pressing to the feet, pressing and hugging the belly in. And then lifting the head, lowering on down slowly, and releasing all the way down. So now take your knees, bring your knees to the chest, and draw your knees over to your left side. And breathe here as you release that head on down. And enjoying the rest of this ride. Let's take that left hand, place it over the right thigh, and breathe here. And continuing to breathe and feeling the expansion along that right outer hip. All right, and now let's go back to center. Let's take those knees and scoot them over to the other side and then do the same. So the right hand this time comes on top of both thighs, and then you release the head on down here. And just continue to breathe into the chest and the body. And release everything right here. So this is a simple twist. It's called Jartha Parivartanasana, and it means stomach churning pose. And we take this pose just in order for us to release
from our shoulders down to our toes. So just breathing here and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out. All right. So what I want you to do right now is to roll over onto your side. You're going to press your way up, and we're going to come into a nice little sequence in a seated posture pose. So we're going to start with this pose right here. You're going to take your right knee and bend it in towards your chest. Then you're going to take your left hand, cross it over that right knee, and then bring your chest over all the way to the side. So you're going to turn towards that right knee here. Flex across the left foot, press down through both sit bones, and begin to spin the right side of the chest to the back of your hip bones. Really, it's the back of your sit bones, not your hip bones, the back bones. All right. And then from here, you're going to extend that right leg forward, and you're going to do the same over to the left. So let's hug that left knee in and begin to revolve through or across the chest. So as you revolve here, this is like a variation pose. It's called Marichyasana C. And as you breathe here, keep turning the chest from the right all the way over to the left. Good. And then as you come back to center, once again, we're going to take a pose called Janus Asana. So you're going to take your right knee, bring it into your chest, and then extend both your hands over your left foot. Release the head on down here and breathe. And just see if you can let go all the way. So this is Janus Asana's pose. And just taking a break from the narration for the moment. Just stretching out through the body. Good. And as you feel ready here, this is the second part of the pose. So I have a block underneath my leg. You're going to take the left leg out to the left. You're going to take the left hand, grab hold of the foot, maybe the big toe. You're going to take the right hand, glide it over the head, and just begin to turn the chest up towards the ceiling here. So if you're not taking this twisted variation of the pose, what you could do is just take your right hand and place it in your hip. And just spin the chest here as you revolve and revolve. And breathe on here once again. So this is a great, great, great pose. You could even take your right hand behind the back here as you lift the chest. Nice. Inhale, lifting on up. I love that pose. And then taking your leg back to center. Okay. So as you take this leg back to center, we're going to extend the right leg on forward. Take the left knee, bend it in, and bring the left foot out to the side. So we're going to start here, Janus Asana. And as you feel ready, gliding both hands down and releasing your head towards the knee. So breathe into the back muscles and continue to draw your right outer heel back and releasing on your head here as you breathe across the spine. And then walk your hands back, take your right leg all the way out to the right. You're going to take your right hand, bring it down to your right big toe, and then you're going to extend your left arm all over the head. So you can stay here if you want, coming into this variation of the pose, or you can take your left hand onto your hip, or you could take your left hand, bring it behind your back, and lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Once again, another one of my favorite poses. I love this pose. I don't really see it that often in class, but it's such a good pose. It's a Trikonasana twist. And then lift on up here, good. And then extend your legs all the way out in front of you. And inhale, lift both arms up and float the chest forward and release the hands down to the feet. Now breathe here and release the head on down. And just see and enjoy this nice little treat. So once again here, we can rest and just
be in this pose. I love this pose as well, Paschimottanasana, the west facing the east. And be here for another moment.
Good, and as you inhale, lift on up, and we're going to find our way onto our backs again. So if you have a blanket, maybe place a blanket behind the head, just to release the head down, optional. And then you'll hug your knees into the chest here, and you'll rock from side to side. Now take your legs, extend your legs on forward, and turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Draw the shoulders under the chest and release entirely here. So as you continue to release, everyone, I'm going to invite you to just see where you can go. So let the mind dissolve here. Let the breath just go. And focus on relaxation. Focus on letting go. And then as you feel ready, draw the breath back into the body and just move the fingers and toes around. Bring the knees back into a bent position. And roll your hips on the ground. Just roll onto your side. Release the head on down for another moment. And as you feel ready, press your way on up. And as we close our class together, we're just going to bring our feet into a cross-legged position. Now take your feet, cross the legs, and bring your hands into the center chest. And as we exhale, release the chin to the chest. We say Namaste, Hari Om. So thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this practice. It was somewhat of a ballad of a class. My name is Jason Gorenstein. I hope that you've been enjoying these classes with me. So yes, we're going to continue to keep this thing going. And, if you, one way that you can really help out, if you are interested in helping out, is there is a link. Oh, perfect, Jessica. Amazing. So there's a link on my Facebook page that is called Review. And if you don't mind just sharing, and you could just write something short like I enjoyed class or I like the online live class, it really helps out. So I just want to say it's been an amazing gift and pleasure to be able to share practice and teaching. So please continue to keep me posted. Let me know. As long as you're here to practice, I'm here to practice. And yes, I'm enjoying this very much. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, rest of your day, Jessica, and an evening as well. And I will look forward to seeing you very soon on the yoga mat. together. So let's keep this going.